Okay, I'm going to show you how to solve quadratic equations by factoring. So I'm going to start with this quadratic equation that's already in factored form. X minus 4 times x plus 2 equals 0. So we're going to try to find the value of x. But one thing that we do know that we can use to help us in this situation is the zero product property that says that if a times b equals 0, then a equals 0 or b equals 0. And it makes sense if you think about it, because if a is 50 and it's times some number to give me a product of 0, we know that the other number has to be 0. So one of my two values that are being multiplied must be 0. In this case, the two values being multiplied are x minus 4 and x plus 2. So either x minus 4 is 0 or x plus 2 is 0. These are very simple equations to solve to get that x is 4 and x is negative 2. So this equation actually has multiple solutions. So if I go to the next one, right here, this problem's more difficult than the previous problems. In the previous problem, our polynomial was already factored. So here, it isn't. So I want to make it factored. I want to rewrite this trinomial as the product of two binomials so that we can use our zero product property. So I always like to use the box method whenever I factor. And I'm going to multiply those. So I'm looking for two values that will multiply to give me 6x squared, which is the product of the first and last terms. And those same two numbers, when I add them, should give me negative 7x, which is my middle term. The only numbers that's going to satisfy both of these requirements are negative 1x and negative 6x. So those are the values that go in the two diagonal boxes. When I factor the GCF out, I should get negative 3x, 2x, and negative 1, which gives me my factors. So if that times that is 0, we know that either 2x minus 1 is 0 or x minus 3 is 0. So if I solve these two equations, see that? I now have the two values of x that will satisfy that equation. So to summarize, when I start with a quadratic, I can solve it by factoring, because if I factor the quadratic first, I rewrite my trinomial as the product of two binomials. Once I do that, I can apply the zero product property to help me find my multiple solutions.